Thank you for your blessings and your lessons to all of the guests. It's your host, Trey Ism, and you watching Gems in the Rock. Legendary baller, Terrance Mitchell, the hard-nosed baller of the Rock Town, 585. Back in the early 90s, this juggernaut was definitely putting in work. From east to the west side, don't matter where you was from, you definitely heard of Terrance Mitchell. From East High School, definitely a legend in the town, definitely putting in that work. Before a full house at the Rochester New York War Memorial Arena on live TV channel 13, this was for the Section 5 championship. Sal Rizzo coached East, and Coach Cox rushed Henrietta. Sean Johnson, number 22 for East, was MVP for this game.
Forward again, the rebound to East. Sean Johnson pushes it up to Mitchell. Mitchell takes it, takes the shot. It's
for East. Mitchell had 9 and Johnson 10.
Terrance "Jug" Mitchell been putting in that work for many years. Rochester's own. I want y'all to sit back and just tune in.
My oldest little Terrance was 14, man. He played, but he don't really take it serious. He played though, because I keep telling him nigga getting big, getting tall now. So I'm like 14 playing. He can play though, but I got twins behind him, man. I got 6 boys, so
Yo, I heard that you had a brother that played ball too that I ain't never know about. Somebody mentioned your brother. You had like another sibling that played ball too?
Yeah, my brother Pumpkin played.
Get out of here.
Yeah, well, he the one named after my father, though. He the one named after my pops. He had the name, but he didn't play. So that's what, man. He was named after my father.
Right.
His name Robert Murphy Jr., but he didn't punk, and everybody, he just ain't play. He just, after high school, he didn't take it serious. No, he was hustling, though.
Got you.
Yeah, he ain't really.
He ain't taking it serious, but he was really talented.
He didn't take it serious at all. He ain't played no ball in high school, so that's just him.
Right. Did you get any basketball like techniques from him growing up, or what kind of a player was he? Did y'all play the same position, or?
Yeah, well, we was always the same. I was really mainly the real ball player. We never really played against each other. He didn't want to play against me.
Right.
He didn't like to play because I was serious back then, so I wasn't. Like, he used to just play for rec ball. Like, I was real serious with it. So, I was on a different level with him when we was little. Like, when we was even little, like, he wouldn't play with me. He wouldn't play against me at all. Like, he wouldn't shoot.
Right.
We'd go to preschool to play, rec ball, but that's it. That nigga would not get on the court. He would not play against me. Like, he would not. That nigga would not play with me. Like, I was like, come on, brother, go hoop. Yeah. When we was in high school, he the one had the money, the Beamers and all that shit, all that.
Right.
So it was more like he just let it be. I guess he wasn't gonna be as good as the Murphy family because he the one got the last name. I'm a Mitchell, nigga.
Did he come to your games? I'm quite sure he came to your games represented, right? No doubt.
He came to all the games.
Man. Yeah. And your biggest rivalry when you was at East, when you first got there, I was hearing, was it Edison? Or was it Edison like your first somewhat rival with East?
Yeah, it was always Franklin. It was Wilson, really. It was Mike Shepard. And then it was more like Franklin. It was Wilson, Franklin. It was more, it was City Catholic was bigger back then. So it was like mad different schools, man. Like back then it was mad different schools. It was like Wilson, nigga, it was Franklin, it was Edison, it was Jefferson, it was Cardinal Mooney, it was McQuaid.
Right.
Nigga, it was mad school, Marshall, United Shalai. We had mad different schools, so you know what I mean?
Y'all schedule was thick. Y'all schedule was thick.
It was crazy back then. So it's like before you even get to the county schools, you got damn 20 games in the city. Like we used to have like 30 games, man.
And what was it like playing against the suburb schools? What how you?
They wouldn't play against East, man.
Right. And was there school that y'all wanted to play that y'all heard about that y'all just couldn't play because they was on the schedule? Like, was there any particular school that y'all was like, man, we could beat them if we played them, but they not on our schedule?
A lot of schools, man. A lot of, we was class A, man. So it was like we was ready to play all the big schools. Man, we had to go to New York and get school tickets. And we had to go play all Hollows. We had to go to Pennsylvania and play different schools. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of niggas didn't want to play us, man. Like we didn't. It was hard for coach to get games, bro. Like,
wow.
Yeah. Like niggas, okay, like we was in I was in high school with Phil.
Mm-hmm.
The niggas playing at Fairport when I was at E. Them niggas ain't want to play us. We played the niggas in the summer league.
Right.
In Penfield.
Right.
Crushed them niggas. We beat them niggas so bad it was crazy. It was like, niggas Scott Fish Senior was like, no way, I'm not putting the niggas on my schedule. We not playing. You gotta think about it, man. We gotta think about it. After Tony left at East, it was me, Reg. After Tony left the next year, that's when Sean Johnson came over, Will came over, Dion came over, H-Man came over. And then we had our
Art Long,
Darryl, and we had
Darryl Barley,
big Eric Robinson. We had Big Burt.
Right.
So we already had a nice little team, but once them niggas came out, our team was crazy that summer. Like that summer was bananas.
That's what's up, man.
Like it was crazy. So ain't nobody want to play us, man. It was more or less we knew we was gonna win, man. We should have won the States, man. When we got up to the States, they threw a little bullshit on us at the States.
Right.
Like, we came to play, and they made us play at 10 o'clock in the morning, man.
They changed our time schedule? Y'all like...
Bumped it over. Niggas like, what? Like, we got a game. Niggas like, niggas barely ate breakfast that morning. Like, we really... They threw a tech on us that, man. Because we normally play at 3 o'clock.
Right. They just put a monkey wrench in it.
The night before, we're chilling. All happy, they get ready to get some sleep. Wake up in the morning, have breakfast. Nigga, they talk about we got a game at 10.
Y'all was at the War Memorial, right?
Yeah, we supposed to play at like 2 and we like, what?
Wow.
That's how niggas wasn't even, man. We was all off our game, man.
That's crazy. Y'all had a good squad, man, back then, man. Shoot, man, y'all had bigs and perimeter shooters. And
that's how the game was back then. Like, it was a different game back then, bro. Like, the 90s was different, man.
Yeah.
I came out in the 90s, so I played in the 80s. So, I only played college ball in the 90s.
Right.
And I played college ball in Florida, so,
What college was that in Florida? What college was that in Florida?
I went to Seminole.
Okay. I know it was a different environment leaving from the cold and going down to Florida in that warm environment. I know you was.
I was chilling, man. I had family down there, so I was more or less chilling. I was good. I got down there and I probably could have pursued it more and just went somewhere else more, but then I just,
right.
I had my first kid and I started working. I was chilling. I was, ball was like, after that, I was like, once I ain't make it to the league, I was in Orlando.
Right.
Down there with Shaq, nigga, I was in Orlando.
Chilling.
Think about it. I was in Seminole, but I lived in Orlando. I lived in Lake Mary, bro. That's where Shaq mama and them lived at.
Shaq mom's word?
Like I lived, like I used to, like my school, I did work study for Seminole Community College, right? But our work study was on Saturdays. The junior magic used to practice in our gym.
Right.
So that's how I ended up meeting Lieutenant Harrison. I met Shaq Daddy, the one that died.
Wow.
I ended up meeting his brother. That's his brother's father.
Yeah.
The baby boy. You know what I mean?
Right.
He was about 7 foot. He was sorry as I don't know what, but that's how I ended up meeting their father down there like 92, 93, man.
He had the height on him. Wow.
That little nigga was tall, man. He couldn't even hoop, man.
Dang.
But but one of my mans who I grew up with that's from Stanford, his brother got a baby by Shaq's sister.
Whoa, hold that one. That's a jewel. Hold on.
Yeah, he a twin. He his twin boys. See, in Sanford, Florida, a lot of people from Rochester originated from down here.
Right.
Lake Mary is right next to that's Central Florida. Lake Mary right next to them. Lake Mary ain't nothing but a suburb to Orlando.
Right.
So Lake Mary is only 2 high schools in Seminole County. Lake Mary High School, which is the white high school.
Got you.
And Seminole High School. Shaq and them family lived in Lake Mary. All his sisters and brothers and them went to Lake Mary.
That's crazy.
Seminole College is in Seminole County, but it's in Lake Mary.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
that's how I was happy to be in the right place at the right time. And then think about it. Shaq was down there. Shaq was dating the Mayor Johnson daughter, like on the low. You know, he like the short little pretty little girl.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
That's how me and Mike Shepard, you know, me and Mike Shepard ended up going to college together.
Oh, Mike Shepard went down there too, played?
Yeah, that's when me and Mike went to school. We went to school together. So
we got to get Mike Shepard on here too if we can,
that'd be a great interview too.
Yeah, shout out to Mike Shepard, man. When we get a chance, but we definitely got to get him on here, man, for real,
Mike,
man.
another historian. So you got to go back to the dude that played in the 80s, that had a real career in the 80s. And then, you know, because see, the 90s is a different time.
Right.
Like that, 90, you know, 90, I was in college. Remember, I went to school in Syracuse in 90. I didn't play no ball. See,
right.
That's why I didn't play ball. I went up there. See, my whole bag was trying to get to Syracuse, man. Boeheim was my man. Ernie was my man. I was trying to get up there to OCC and take the ACT nigga and get in there at Syracuse. You know, Billy Owens was my man. I was up there in 90. Billy was up there.
Right.
He picking me up in a drop top vet every day, nigga. We going up to Manly playing ball, so niggas like that. We hanging out with this
Billy Owens. Right, no doubt.
Yeah, Tony was my man, but Billy was real tight. So you know, Derek was tight. You know, I'm just cool with these dudes, man.
Yeah, John Wallace and stuff. I know you played. You know, didn't you play against him in high school or back when he was before he went?
Nah, John didn't play against me in high school. They were scared to play us.
Right. I'm saying, well, you was playing when he was in high school. I'm quite sure y'all played in some gym somewhere. Cause I remember running to him. I remember running to him, playing against him in the at the beach.
I remember out there in Richardson, because you know they just had a little park out there.
Okay.
So we used to go out there. My aunt stayed out there, so I used to go out there with Kyle. That's when Kyle was out there, Kyle Jefferson.
Got you, right, yeah.
See, Kyle came from out there. He got kicked out of school out there. Then he ended up going to Franklin. See, Coach Jackson did a massive recruitment with that Franklin shit. Because look, Dave Mobley and Kyle both lived out there in English Village, way out there in Greece, and they went to Franklin.
That's funny because that's who I was playing with. I was playing with one of the Mobleys in the park at the beach against John Wallace and Marlon Johnson too was playing with me on that team. It was just like a pickup game, and wound up first time I ever seen John Wallace, real big. But your boy Mobley was. Son was giving him some work.
Yeah, Mobley, but that was Alvin Mobley.
Yeah, it was Alvin Mobley. It was.
That's the one that got John tough.
Yo, it was Alvin Mobley, yo, bro. Yeah, this was a long time ago.
See, look, Alvin played with Mike at Franklin.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, Big Andre, another one, Big Andre Green.
Yeah.
Passed away.
Yeah, Drake got to get on the gyms too, man. I shouted out to
Drake played against a lot of dudes with me. When we play AAU, going down there to motherfucking Sharon, Pennsylvania, and all that. We played with Trent Jackson. Like every year, I played with Coach Trent Jackson, man. AAU, man. I couldn't play with anybody.
Right.
I played with him. It was out of respect thing. See, a lot of people didn't know who he was back then. They didn't know. They didn't know like he was the GOAT.
No doubt.
Motherfuckers keep talking about they the GOAT, huh?
Trent Jackson's the GOAT.
That's what I call the GOAT, man. There's a couple of niggas I call the GOAT. Glenn Hagan, my uncle Glenn Hagan.
No doubt.
And Trent Jackson, man. Don't nobody got no accolades like Trent Jackson.
Right. No doubt.
My uncle Norman Bounds, my father Robbie Murphy, and then my uncle Press. All right. And then you had Willie Grimes. There's a lot of other dudes that's like, they were ballers and then they were ballers. Press
Murphy was family too for you, huh?
That's my uncle. That's my father, brother. That's the one that used to play with Chris Tuck.
No doubt. Wow.
That's when him and Chris played together. You know, both of them got killed, but Press, they're the ones that won the state back to back.
Yeah.
A silent reminder of Section 5's first team to win back-to-back state championships. A story of success rarely seen in our area, and an all-too-tragic ending.
December 6th, yes, Christmas, 1989, Christmas, killed in front of our home, maybe like 9 or 10 in the evening. That was one of the saddest days of my life where I lost my best friend, my brother, and my brother lost a chance to become an NBA player.
3 years later, Press Murphy, too, was gone.
And my cousin called me, and he said that Press was killed. I was like baffled. I said, what happened? And he told me that he got shot.
And some choose to remember the tragic ending to these two lives when they think back to those Charlotte teams. Yet others remember their talents, those honored on the solitary banner still hanging in the Charlotte gym.
Nothing compares to the throwback Press Murphy and Chris Tuck, known as Batman and Superman, that is. Section 5 hasn't seen anything like this ever since. When I first heard about these two brothers right here, I was like, man, they couldn't be in high school, seeing the magnitude of their speed, their size. They just already look like polished professionals. When I look back and I hear stories about basketball players under pressure being influenced by their environments, this story definitely echoes in those remnant stories, and it's very unfortunate that we couldn't see what was to become. The whole town was rooting for him. Gyms packed, blowing teams out, execution, just knowing where people were at on the court. They said you couldn't stop both of them. You could stop one, but you really couldn't stop both of them. With the collective of great role players, the program definitely was coached, by a good coach. And Charlotte state champions, back-to-back titles will never be forgotten, going down in Rochester Section 5 history. I hope that the future generation can learn from different stories that were before them. There are different gems in each story. I just want to salute the green and white, the dynamic duo, Press Murphy and Chris Tuck. May they rest in peace. And thank you for leaving a legacy of basketball that is definitely unmatched.
We just have to get everybody to come through for us. Get here tonight.
How's it feel?
I feel good right now. I hope this week go back that far.
You want the state championship?
Yeah, that's what we're looking forward to.
What do you think was like one of your best rivals when you did play in high school, as far as your position was concerned?
Man, I don't know, man. I ain't really have no right to see. I had to play. See, I don't know, man, because I was going against niggas that was point guards, and they made me play the point guard.
They made you play out of position. You was playing everything.
Now, two guards, so but
right.
When Tony was there his last year, wasn't nobody to bring the ball up, so coach made me play point guard.
Right,
so that made me a point guard that year. So I had to go against niggas like R.D. Long, Mike Shepard.
Yeah.
It was a lot of tough niggas back then, like Sean Nathan for Edison.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Herman. Who else, man? Damn. Man.
Had to tweak your game up. Yeah.
I'm talking about ready to go at me at the two-guy position. It wasn't really too many because, Leroy was tough for Frank, man.
Mm-hmm.
Two guards. I mean, I ain't really had too many. See, LaShawn Nathan probably was the better one, but he was really a 3 because he was like 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah.
He had to bring it up for Edison.
Right.
Nigga, him and Herman was averaging 25 apiece.
That's a big body. 25 Herm, big Herm.
And for Edison, them niggas was averaging 25 apiece. They just ain't have another nigga to average 10. They ain't having. Them niggas would have had one more player, man, to average anything. They wouldn't have beat them niggas. They couldn't stop them niggas.
Right.
They scoring regardless, man. Them niggas gonna get their 25. Like, we used to beat them niggas every year, but them niggas got 25 easy. Easy. My first year, the first year they started threes, man. Niggas wasn't really thinking about the threes until I got like my senior year.
Don't you think that the mid-range game is like a way lost art? I'm quite sure it's been said, these past couple of years, but like, man.
But you know what? That's the problem. That's the problem with today's games. That's the problem with today's game. They don't took the mid-range out and don't move it back to the three, right?
Right.
And what that done is the dynamics of basketball done changed.
Right.
You can't really check niggas shooting jump shots all the time.
It's like positionless basketball. They blame that a lot with a lot of people coming from across seas too.
Really think about it. These dudes be playing for 4 or 5 teams now.
Right. Yeah.
You don't got no long. You gotta be like Steph Curry to stay on one team. And you gotta be like Kobe Bryant. You gotta be like a real stat stuffer, man. These niggas, they position wise, they use you as long as they need you. Like, they can come get somebody to shoot the three. If you can't shoot over 40%, 35%, you really ain't no great shooter.
Yeah, that's it. It's all about the numbers game. Yeah.
Yeah, they messing the game up because like the big man is obsolete now. Like, think about it.
Defenses they barely want to be played.
Do you want your big man down on the clock up the middle, or do you want the nigga to be at the free throw line and that nigga can just go back door on the nigga and get a dunk and a layup, and he's obsolete now.
Right.
He's only getting rebounds.
It's like a faster pace thing, when you want somebody down in the block, that there's certain kind of execution in a half court game, what have you. But I definitely feel like, with your back being played to the basket, it's less now. And those that was doing it well years ago, it's like the game is a little bit faster now. You know what I'm saying? But, those teams who buy into those old little, tricks, throughout the game, to me, I think those are game changers. You know what I mean? I think those are going to be some game changers.
You got to know how to switch the game.
You got to know how to switch. And take advantage of your disadvantages.
But you got to know that old technique, too.
Yeah.
Like, in order to win the game, you got to go back to the old tricks.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, you got shooters on the team, on the other team. So, at the end of the game, last 5 minutes, you got to go with a different strategy. All right, go boxing one on that nigga. Go this, go that. Do different tricks on something they ain't going to see today because they don't play the game like back in the day. So coaching is all about just having tricks, man. Yeah. Like me, I think I could be a good coach, but what age? I don't know.
Right, you got to start somewhere, and I think you would be a definite good coach, man, because it's too much. It's too much experience. But a lot of times when you tap in, us being old school, what have you, it's just relaying it. And what age? Granted, it'll be humble, depending upon what age. But you really just gotta dive in. You know what I mean? Have a summer.
Anytime I see kids, man, working out, man, one thing I do, I'm like a missionary when it comes to that.
No doubt.
I'm a missionary when it comes to basketball.
Right.
It's hard for me.
No doubt. Because you passionate. You passionate about it.
It's hard for me to charge a kid to give back what I know. I'm going to do it instinctively. I'm going to do it just because that's just my nature.
That's right.
I'm not going to charge a kid. Like, you meet me at the park the next day or this and that, boom, boom, boom. Now, depending on his energy or her energy,
right,
I'll keep coming if you're going to be serious about it.
That's what's up.
Because I know what to do to make to get the results that I'm looking for.
But that's what God, from the basketball gods have given you. You know what I mean? I've done that going to parks where I've seen a kid, but it's hard to interact sometimes. Sometimes you just freely do it. But it goes back to the essence of when you go to a park and you respect the OG telling you certain things, what have you. And shit, my days in my park, I'd shut up and I just listen. You know what I mean? But definitely, when I started coaching, I didn't think that I was gonna coach, but I was, and I still am. Like, even though I coach, what have you, it's still like a missionary just going to parks and just seeing a kid. But you somewhat ask their status, even if they're going someplace. Somewhat the conversation will be short-lived, knowing that they're not taking it serious as much, because how they say, there's a lot of people who are very talented, but they don't work hard, and there's a lot of people who work hard and they beat the talented people, what have you. So like, I think in God's time, you'll definitely sprinkle around into a program that'll, utilize you properly. I mean, you'd be surprised going back to your old alma maters and whatnot. You know what I mean? Your East and whatnot. But it just sprinkling it. It's the gratification is definitely deep, and it'll definitely go a long way.
They definitely be like, yo, come through and all that. They always be like, like H always be like H, the last one, because H had verdicts.
Yeah,
I mean, him talk all the time. They still be balling.
Shout out to H, man. He don't. I mean, he's shy too, man. I'm trying to get him on gyms too.
He mad shy. H.
Shout out to that's like the Grand Hill of rock. H is mad humble, yo.
See, he had to be with somebody with him, and then he'll come, and then he more like that. So
that's what's up.
That's my brother, man. So he definitely got to get his flowers, because he's definitely won.
Yes, sir.
He was definitely a catalyst on our team. A lot of people don't know that.
Right.
He played the background a lot. So
yeah.
That's my brother, man. I mean, him talk all the time. So.
Yeah, and you know what?
I definitely got to get up with you, because, man, I get my mind right. Cause it's like, man, my time is for when I play, man. I go back and think about a lot of the players that I played against, man.
Right.
It's a lot of them, man, and it's a lot of them, man. Like, there was certain players, man, that when I came through, man, they were, I had to give them their flowers, because, it was a different type of game back then.
Yeah.
It was a different game then, bro. Like, it was different. Then it's a lot of cats that came from your way.
Yes, sir.
See, what a lot of people don't understand.
Yes, sir. I was in that gym when you went.
Yeah. From New York City way.
Yes, sir.
It's a lot of them, man. There's so many of them, man. It's like I would have to sit down, bro, and just sit down, man, and go over to all the names, man.
Yeah. Rob Nurse still up here.
Played a lot of parts and a lot of this shit up here too. A lot of people that it's a big wheel, man. A lot of people got their part in the big wheel. It's not like a lot of people. It's not like just one person, man.
Right, no doubt.
Different people.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
A lot of different people, man. So it's like, what you're doing is a beautiful thing. That's a great thing. So, that's a good thing, man. That's why I'm like, I got to get in there and get mine out the way.
Yes, sir. You got to come on down to the gyms in the Rock, man. Definitely, man. We showing love. And, man, we just definitely going to get, more stories like this, spread around, because, the new generation of basketball players definitely need to hear these stories. You know what I mean? They definitely got to get this work.
They do, man.
You feel me?
They got to work a little bit harder now. Like, these dudes, man, they got, I don't know, man.
The circuit is different.
I'm old school, baby. I'm old school. So, I'm just one of them niggas that I'm a hard worker.
Terrance "Jug" Mitchell had the whole package when it came to playing the game of basketball. From handling the ball, to running the floor, to shooting the ball from mid-range and from deep. Known as a pure competitor, on any given night, he will change the pace of the game in an instant. If it's playing hard-nosed defense or creating a play for himself or a teammate.
That's a couple three-pointers in this half. Sean Johnson misses, but there with the slam is Reggie Smith. Him at this point of the game at the War Memorial on television. And a steal. Chris Sanderson threw it away there. Sean Johnson with the shot, and it goes. And another steal. He threw it away in this ball game. Sean Johnson goes for the layup, and it's 64-51 in East High.
Foul any three-point shots.
East came into the tournament seeded fourth. The miss there, but the turnover and another foul. Celebration on the floor of the War Memorial. East High, the Section 5 Class A champions. Of a championship game, and has been the case throughout this tournament for years. We're going to recognize the Players from both teams, most valuable players, Sean Johnson and Mike Catalana's with Sean right now. Mike, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready for you, Doug. You know, Sean didn't even know that, so we kind of ruined a surprise for him. MVP of the game, how do you feel?
I feel great. I tell you, after winning the Section 5 MVP in football and to do it again in basketball is definitely a privilege. I mean, most kids in high school don't even get a chance to make it to a sectional game, and I've made it to 2, football and basketball, and MVP. I feel great. I love Rochester, Section 5.
And you must love East. 3 years at Monroe, you come here, you must be big man on campus over there.
Well, I tell you, we got a lot of leaders and a lot of good athletes at East, and I just came in and fit right into the program. They made me feel comfortable, and my job is to come out here and lead these talented young individuals.
Hey, Rush Henrietta didn't quit on you tonight. It was a good game for most of the part, but then at the end, you guys put it away with a run.
I think we felt comfortable and relaxed throughout the game from the start, and then we sort of got to the point after halftime. We got a little too relaxed, started getting back into the game. We said, hey guys, let's buckle down, let's win this game.
There's Sal Rizzo with a Class A championship trophy. His players have received their certificates. The runners-up from Rush Henrietta have done the same. Sean Johnson led East tonight with 16 points. Eric Wyatt, the leading scorer overall for the game. He was 17 points for Rush Henrietta, many of them on three-pointers late in the basketball game. So we did have a good one. After RH down by 10 at the half, they came back to take a 2-point lead, and then East came back with their speed, their strength.
Holla at your boy, this your host Trey Ism, and you watching Gems in the Rock. Please subscribe.
College basketball. I don't think, like I said, that Chris even touched any of his athletic ability as far as becoming the best athlete that he could have been. Chris Tuck was voted most athletic by his classmates at Charlotte High in 1985. Former coaches say he had the potential to play big-time college basketball. His high school team was dominant with him in the lineup, and they won the trophies to prove it. This is Charlotte High School, where Chris Tuck spent his glory years, back-to-back championship seasons. But they were followed by some trouble, a suspension from the basketball team during his senior year. Chris was never charged, but he was one of 5 players suspended from the team for an alleged spree of shoplifting during his senior year. One of his former coaches at Charlotte will remember much better things about Chris.
Everyone in the school really liked Chris a lot. We just thought he was a super young man, came to school every day and worked hard.
Tuck later played at Rockport and MCC. His life ended suddenly last night, shot to death in front of his home on Seward Street. Some people close to Chris say he tended to be a follower instead of a leader, and that trait sometimes got him into trouble. But on the basketball court, Chris Tuck was a leader. Local fans will remember for a long time. Doug Emlich, News Source 13.
It's becoming an all too familiar scene. Police at the scene of a suspected drug-related shooting. The latest victim is 26-year-old Devin Murphy, known to many as Press Murphy, number 44, an outstanding basketball star at Charlotte High in the early 80s. Murphy played alongside Chris Tuck, and the two were referred to as the dynamic duo. Ironically, Tuck was killed in a drug-related shooting 3 years ago.
New York State Pro, they got us 4. We're supposed to be number 1 since we won the states and everything.
How do you feel about that?
I feel good. I'm planning on winning another one this year.